Deep in a vast forest, tucked behind misty, towering mountains, there lived a little fox. Its fur was a warm shade of orange, bright against the green of the forest. Its eyes sparkled with curiosity and energy. Each morning, the forest came alive as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the dense canopy. Golden patterns appeared on the forest floor. Birds began their songs. Squirrels darted across tree branches. The scent of fresh grass mingled with dew and wildflowers. The little fox padded softly along mossy paths. It sniffed the air and twitched its ears, eager to discover every secret. Today felt special. It seemed the forest itself was whispering, "Adventure awaits." The little fox leapt over tiny streams. Icy water splashed across its delicate paws. It bounded over moss-covered rocks. It tumbled through soft piles of fallen leaves. It chased butterflies that darted teasingly in the warm sunlight. The rustling of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, and buzzing bees blended into a symphony. Every sound, every scent, every shadow held a secret. The fox twirled and rolled with joy. His little heart raced with delight. Each step brought new discoveries. A patch of mushrooms peeked from under a log. Sparkling dewdrops glinted like diamonds. Birds watched curiously from branches high above. The forest was alive. The little fox felt it in every tiny movement, every playful leap, every curious sniff. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind swept through the trees. Leaves flew in spirals like golden confetti. Branches shook violently. The air was filled with the earthy smell of rain-soaked moss. The little fox froze. Its ears twitched, and its tail puffed up in alarm. The forest seemed to whisper secrets it could not understand. The wind roared gently but unpredictably. It tickled the fox's fur and teased its tiny paws. The fox's heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement. Shadows stretched across the ground, twisting and dancing. Each sound seemed magnified, mysterious, and magical. For a moment, it questioned whether to go back. But the spark of curiosity and adventure burned brighter than fear. Looking around, the little fox felt the forest's vastness pressing in. Every tree seemed identical. Every shadow looked deep and secretive. The sunlight broke through the canopy in soft golden streams. It formed a gentle path across the forest floor. Perhaps this is the way home, thought the little fox, stepping carefully. Along the path, it discovered hidden wonders it had never noticed before. Mushrooms grew in clusters. Sparkling dewdrops dangled on spider webs. Colorful birds perched on branches, observing silently. Each discovery filled the fox with awe. It realized that sometimes being lost allowed one to see things otherwise unnoticed. The forest no longer seemed intimidating, felt magical, full of lessons and surprises for the brave. As the little fox continued, it grew more confident. The wind still whispered, but now it sounded like a gentle guide, leading rather than frightening. The fox paused to listen. The rustle of leaves in the canopy, the distant babbling of a stream, the flutter of wings above, it all felt like encouragement. Every cautious step, every twitch of its ears, every sniff was a quiet act of bravery. It realized that courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is measured in small steps, in trusting the path, and in moving forward despite uncertainty. Each discovery and each movement became a story, a small victory, a memory the fox would carry forever. Finally, as the sun began its descent behind the mountains, painting the sky in shades of pink, orange, and purple, the little fox returned home. Exhausted yet thrilled, it curled under a familiar oak tree. It listened to the forest breathe in peaceful evening rhythms. The forest shimmered in the soft glow of twilight. And far away, in a quiet, shadowed room, a tiny candle began to tell its own story. A story of light, courage, and warmth, quietly waiting to shine in the darkness. In a silent, dimly lit room, a small candle flickered on an old wooden table. Its tiny flame danced in the stillness, cast soft, wavering shadows on the walls. Every object in the room, books, jars, sketches, and delicate teacups appeared different under the candlelight. Hidden beauty was revealed. The candle's flame longed to bring warmth and hope. It wanted to push back the shadows stretching and whispering along the corners. Outside, the wind murmured against the windows, but inside the candle held firm. It was a gentle guardian of light against the creeping darkness. The shadows seemed alive. They twisted and curled along the walls and ceiling. They reached tentatively toward the flame, yet the candle stood tall, its light unwavering, illuminating the edges of books, the folds of cloth, and the delicate surface of a porcelain teacup. Each flicker revealed a hidden treasure. It turned mundane objects into something magical. The room, once somber and cold, began to feel alive, full of warmth, wonder, and subtle beauty. The candle's light, though small, held the power to transform its surroundings. Even the tiniest light could create magic. The candle whispered softly, "Even if I am small, I can bring hope, guidance, and warmth to anyone who needs it." Its flame danced like a living creature. It stretched courageously toward the darkness. It softened the shadows with gentle golden light. Every flicker spoke of bravery, patience, and quiet persistence. The candle's glow reminded everyone that courage is not always grand or loud. Sometimes the smallest act of light, a single flicker, can change everything. Its quiet power was enough to illuminate corners, reveal hidden treasures, and comfort anyone who dared to look. Gradually, the shadows retreated. They yielded to the golden glow. Each dark corner transformed, revealing tiny wonders. An old journal filled with sketches, a delicate cup of dried flowers, a tiny figurine left on a shelf. The room, once dark and lifeless, became warm, inviting, and full of subtle magic. The candle's small flame had achieved what seemed impossible. It turned darkness into a comforting, beautiful space. Even tiny acts of courage and light can create profound change. The candle's gentle glow reminded everyone that even the smallest light can dispel darkness. If nurtured patiently and persistently, it can shine. Every flicker mattered. Every glow carried meaning. Courage often comes in quiet forms. Hope can bloom in the smallest flame. Even the tiniest effort can illuminate the path for others. The candle taught that bravery is measured not in size but in steadfastness. A little light can inspire, guide, and comfort more than anyone could imagine. From that day on, the little candle burned brightly every night. It filled the room with warmth, hope, and reassurance. Both the little fox, venturing bravely through the vast forest, and the tiny candle, shining against the darkness, remind us of something important. Curiosity, courage, and even the smallest light can guide us through the most uncertain paths. Every adventure, every brave choice, every flicker of light carries magic. Magic capable of changing the world around us.